Hi everyone, this is Chantal, and I am bringing to you something that I hope will be of value. I'm calling it the value of happiness, where I do a little bit of research on the topic of happiness so that others, as well as myself, will understand some of the key principles of making sure that you have happiness in your life on a consistent basis. First, I'd like to introduce the topic by saying that according to Wolfram Alpha in Wikipedia, happiness is a mental or emotional state of well-being characterized by positive or pleasant emotions ranging from contentment to intense joy. In other words, happiness means different things to different people. The books that I've researched are the following: The Happiness Advantage by Shawn Achor, The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin, Happiness is a Choice by Barry Neil Kauffman, Emotional Resilience by Dr. David Viscott, and The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. In The Happiness Advantage, Shawn Achor covers 7 principles. Now, Shawn is an author and a speaker who's best known for his work in positive psychology. He's also the founder of Good Think, Inc. In his book, he shows the 7 principles that help you to learn how happiness actually makes you more successful in the world. Principle number 1, he says, retrain your brain. By retraining our brains to focus on the positive, we improve our productivity and our performance. Principle number 2, the fulcrum and the lever, that means that mindset determines our ability to succeed. Depends on which side of the equation you're standing on. Are you standing on the negative side or on the positive side? Number 3, the Tetris effect. By training our brains to look for positive patterns, we train ourselves to observe and seize opportunities. That's what the Tetris effect is about. Number 4, falling up. Falling up is about how triumph over adversity can be achieved with positive mindset and strong relationship support. Principle number 5 is the Zorro Circle. In times of extreme crisis, we gain control by focusing first on a small, manageable goal. Once that small goal has been managed, we can further expand the circle to bigger goals. 2 more principles from his book are number 6, the 20-second rule. In the 20-second rule, he's referring to taking small tasks that help you to achieve your goal, and it will make you reach your goal or make the possibility of success more likely, because it takes less energy and less time to achieve that result. So you start to develop momentum. Start to develop momentum by turning it into a ritual and creating a habit until the action becomes automatic, and that momentum will just naturally follow. And finally, the last principle in the book is social investment. Develop a social support network and nurture the relationships that you have. This is the greatest predictor of both happiness and high performance. In a nutshell, he suggests that being happy creates a ripple effect. Behavior, whether good or bad, is contagious. So focusing on happiness will also help others to be infected with the positive attitude that you're building up in yourself. He also suggests that in order to retrain your brain, just take 2 minutes a day for the next 21 days and write 3 gratitude statements a day. In a journal, write 1 positive event. It could just be a word or a phrase. You don't have to go through a long description of what was going on in your day. Also, include exercise and good nutrition. In addition to that, meditate. Find ways to manage how you're feeling and calm yourself down so that your body has an opportunity to rest. So along with meditation, I would say rest is very important. Finally, doing random acts of kindness. It makes us feel good. It makes another person feel good. So it's a win-win situation. The next book we're going to review is The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. Gretchen Rubin was formerly editor-in-chief of the Yale Law Journal. She was also a clerk for Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. While she was happy, after only a few years, she wanted to be happier and decided to quit law and became a thought leader on personal growth. In her book, The Happiness Project, Gretchen provides insight into what it takes to be happy. Here are some bullet points from her book. Happiness is possible. It is a choice. More feeling good. Generate more positive emotions so as to experience more joy. Less feeling bad. Decrease bad feelings from guilt, anger, envy, irritation, etc. Let it go. Feeling right. Decreasing bad feelings from feeling guilt or anger or envy helps you to feel right, living up to expectations that you set up for yourself. And you'll get to know what that right feeling right, feels like. Mindfulness. Practice mindfulness. Cultivate conscious, non-judgmental awareness. The best way to make others happy, there is only one way. To make others happy is by being happy yourself. Stay in the moment. Appreciate and enjoy the small moments in life. Perception of being happy. That means be able to perceive happiness around you. Be mindful and aware of the feeling of happiness. Have more control over your life by having the mindfulness that lets you know what it is that you want to manage because you know what your outcome is that you're looking for. And finally, be yourself. Act the way you truly want to feel. Some tips from the book are do it now because you know what you ought to do, so do it now instead of putting it off. Be polite and be fair to others. Lighten up instead of taking things seriously all the time. And develop strong relationships with other people. And finally, learn something new to help grow your mind, and you'll be happy to know that your mind is growing. The next book is Happiness is a Choice by Barry Neal Kauffman. Barry Neal Kauffman is a therapist, author, and a motivational speaker. He's also the founder of the Option Institute, where he teaches people how to use the traits of happy people to change their life quickly and easily. In his book, Happiness is a Choice, he also talks about how happiness is possible, and it's important to make happiness a priority because he believes that not only is happiness possible, but it is a choice and your birthright, but you've got to make it a priority. Further, he says, accept your personal authenticity, the freedom to be yourself, and let go of judgment and embrace people and situations for how they are and letting things be as they are. Discard regrets and worries. By discarding regrets and worries, you are discarding things of the past and you are not anticipating negative things happening in the future. Finally, always find a way to appreciate specific people and events. Be grateful by appreciating them even during hard times. Finally, 2 more points from the book are to take responsibility for your response to people and situations. Decide to be happy by recognizing your capacity to choose your beliefs and feelings and taking responsibility for your responses to people and situations. Sometimes people and situations can be extremely negative, but how you respond to it and how you feel on a regular basis is really something that you need to find a way to manage inside of you. The last point is to live your dreams. We all need to live our dreams so that we feel fulfilled and happy. The fourth book that we're going to review is Emotional Resilience by Dr. David Viscott. Dr. David Viscott was a psychiatrist, author, businessman, as well as a media personality. In his book, Emotional Resilience, he talks about resolving pain at the moment that it arises. It's important to find freedom and happiness through resolving pain in the moment. Resolving is the key word here. It's not just a matter of saying, I don't like what's happening here. It's actually admitting to yourself how you're feeling and letting it go. The next point is to tell the truth and make positive choices. Telling the truth and making positive choices need to be a way of life, because truth-telling is a way of being congruent, meaning what you have presented to the world and what is inside of you are equal, that they're really the same thing. So truth is not just about telling something with your mouth. It's about how you are, how you present yourself in the world. What you are on the inside and what you show on the outside need to be congruent. Next is to discover your gifts. Discovering your gift can take a while, but the discovery is really a gift in and of itself. The discovery process, the path toward it, are very important. Face life openly, because what you avoid actually imprisons you. So being open means don't let yourself be imprisoned by things that you're avoiding. Express yourself. Say what you mean, feel, and believe. More about that congruence between what's inside and what's outside. But I must caution you that simply blurting out words is not necessarily the end of the process. Look at how you're reacting to a situation. Why do you feel you always need to blurt out what is bothering you, and then ask yourself, why is this bothering me? Just keep peeling away at the situation until you get to the point where you say, you know what, I'm not going to let things like this bother me anymore. Or remove yourself from the situation until you're strong enough to be able to stand up to something that would have bothered you in the past and will no longer bother you in the present. The next bullet point is to be kind to yourself. Make sure you do that every single day. Don't let a day go by where you don't count yourself in that group of people that needs your kindness, that needs your love, that needs your attention. Finally, reconcile the past with the present. Feelings of hurt, if unresolved, will turn into anger. And then anger will just eat you up inside. And when it's not expressed in ways where you can use your words to express what's going on in you, it gets stored inside, and you might end up feeling guilt. You might end up having physical reactions, health issues, just from keeping something bottled inside you. Learn to reconcile the past with the present as you grow and develop mentally and emotionally. Furthermore, Dr. Viscott says, find something to be grateful for and remember it. Learn how to forgive others and learn to forgive yourself. Don't try to change or fix others. If others need to improve, they are not meant to be improved by you. Do not expect people to understand you. You will be misunderstood. Don't hold a grudge. Expect that the world is going to be different than what you want it to be, so therefore accept it the way it is right now. And don't wait for permission to do what is best for you. The next book we're going to review is The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. Michael Singer is a former medical software programmer, a best-selling author, and a co-founder of a meditation center. In The Untethered Soul, here are some bullet points that he covers. We have the ability to increase our happiness according to how well we manage our mind. So he also believes we can increase our happiness. It's important for us to release expectations. The mind constantly tries to match expectations with actual experiences and is often disappointed because the world will never match the conceptual model that our mind has made up. Another bullet point is stop the inner struggle to be okay. Learn not to participate in the mind's struggle. When disturbance occurs because the mind did not get what it wants or experiences what it does not want, learn to sit back and let that go. The next bullet point, which I found to be extremely helpful in my personal development, was develop the ability to have unconditional happiness. The more requirements you put on happiness, the more limited your happiness will be and the harder it will be to achieve. Be happy regardless of what's happening. Now, that doesn't mean that I can achieve happiness every single second, but I let myself experience joy spontaneously in the midst of even the most challenging crisis. It just takes a few seconds of feeling better in the middle of feeling lousy to eventually feel better more than you feel lousy, and then feeling better takes over eventually. But you've got to plant that little seed by making space for unconditional happiness where you're just feeling happy even though nothing has changed. The next bullet point is be happy no matter what. So that is really an extension of what we were just talking about. You can choose to be happy in the face of anything that comes along. Because if you make your happiness a priority, happiness will always be on the list of ways to be, things to do. The purpose of life is to learn from your experiences. That's the next bullet point. It's to learn to enjoy life because you've learned from your experiences. It's as simple as that. The next bullet point about get to know yourself, this has been around for thousands of years. The key to happiness is know thyself. It's on the Oracle of Delphi, the temples where the ancient Greeks would talk about this. And I'm sure it goes back even before the ancient Greeks. Know thyself so that thou can be happy. Choose unconditional happiness wherever you find it. You can choose unconditional happiness by staying conscious, centered, and committed to your happiness at all times. A quick little happiness self-assessment is to ask yourself, how are you investing in your happiness? I just have 3 questions for you. How often do you keep in touch with friends and family? How often do you intentionally choose the best foods and the best exercise to be healthy and fit, to take care of that body that you're going to be walking around in for the next few decades if things go as planned? I don't know what age you are. If you're 90, you might still have a few more decades. Who knows? But you'll have a few more likely to have a few more decades if you eat right and move right and think right. Do you have life plans with steps to make your goals your reality? And do those plans make you feel excited? If it doesn't make you feel excited, find something that does make you feel excited. It doesn't mean don't continue with what you're doing now, but just put it in the back of your mind that you're looking for something that really grabs you. and in a positive way will expand your life. By thinking through what makes you happy, you might find that your current state of happiness is not quite what you thought it was. Maybe you feel it can only get better. Can't get any worse than this. If that's the case, then that's good that you think you deserve better, because you do. And it's time for you to take action so that you can claim your piece of happiness. Perhaps you're feeling indifferent. You're not exactly unhappy, but at the back of your mind, you know you could do better. This is a great time for coming up with that, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to figure it out kind of mentality. Or maybe you're one of these people that feels that life is good. You're among the happiest people around you. Enjoy. Keep it up. Help others. But I'm going to share something with you. Sometimes you're saying life is good in comparison to other people. Don't feel badly if you want even more. Don't feel badly if you want to achieve greater goals. Nature doesn't just stop growing because it says, I made enough apples. One seed can turn into an apple tree, which turns into apples that have more than one seed in them. And if nature is given enough space, the whole planet would be covered with apple trees. It never stops. So why should you stop? If you want to achieve something else, even if your life is perfect, that's okay. There are some obstacles to happiness, and I've listed 5 questions to ask yourself to see if you have answers that you could come up with, and you might want to put this in your journal. Do you know what actually makes you happy? Maybe you've never asked yourself that question. Do you put off important decisions or actions? Why? If you do, put them off. Why do you do that? Do you blame others for your unhappiness? The truth is, your happiness is your job, even if somebody is trying to make you miserable. How you react is up to you. Where do you place your happiness on your list of priorities? If your happiness really means that much to you, then you'll find solutions for making sure that you turn your situation around, add a little seed of happiness here and there until it takes over your entire life. Are you comparing yourself to others? Are you comparing yourself to these people that wrote these books? If you do a little research on their lives, you'll find that each of them faced obstacles, and one even ended in a tragic way. I'm not going to tell you which one. I'm just telling you that the wisdom that they share with you is still valuable, but they're just human beings trying to make sense of this world and trying to make a contribution with what they've been given. That's all that we can ask of each other. We're not trying to say that somebody has to be perfect. So don't compare yourself to others, because even those who are experts are struggling from time to time, or end at a point where they're in a struggle and didn't get a chance to figure it out completely for themselves. Maybe they wrote the book before they had challenges, and when the rubber met the road, they were just hanging by a thread. That happens. Don't compare yourself to others. Do your best. So, what can I say? Be kind to yourself. Clarify what matters to you, what your values are. Practice appreciation and gratitude toward others, toward your circumstances, toward yourself. Keep a journal of your achievements. Why not? Instead of thinking about the things that suck or didn't turn out so well, write down what did work and look at it. It could be a tiny little book. It could be little index cards that you put all over the house or the apartment or your car or in your pocket. Small progress consistently applied pays off in big ways. I used to be one of those people that believed in, the analysis paralysis person, right? I still have a little bit of that perfection thing in me. It's part of my personality, and it's why I work in quality assurance all these decades. But I've learned to be kinder to myself, to accept myself as I am, that how I am is what I need in order to do the skills that I have. So I have to remind myself that little progress, consistently applied, pays off in big ways, instead of judging myself that I didn't do enough. Even after I've judged myself that I didn't do enough, I go back to going, hey, you made some progress. This is good. Keep going. And make your happiness list visible. It doesn't have to be a real list. It could be sticky notes that you put all over the place. Make it visible so that you know what you're heading toward. We are at the point where I would like to conclude by saying happiness can be an elusive topic, but it's a very important one. When you see that something makes you happy, you might find that it doesn't pay as much as something else that you were doing. You might want to start thinking how to change things around. You might have to work 2 or 3 jobs in order to be happy doing what you want to do. But if that's what it takes, and it makes you happy, go for it. You'll find more success in that happiness. Every person in every country needs to know how to be happy and make the world a better place, especially the world within. So, make sure that you are learning how to be happy, and beware of those who seem to provide the quick answers with the efficiency of a fast food worker, and boom, they give you the answer to how to be happy. You need to figure it out yourself. Yes, you can be guided by others, but the work is really up to you. You are the vessel that will carry what you learn, and by learning to be kind to yourself, be kind to others as they are on their journey to happiness as well. I hope this has been very helpful or a little helpful, but I figured social distancing, you might need some information about how to be happy and why it's valuable. Take care.